Shame on this woman. You'll notice that he has a mugshot and she doesn't, but I will scream it from the rooftops. Shame on her. Wait until you hear what she did.
You guys need to hear this story. Insane. Absolutely disgusting.
So this is 26-year-old Caroline Miller. She has a 2-year-old son and 4-year-old daughter. On March 18th, they were inside an Atlanta Walmart when a man approached her and asked for help finding the Tylenol. And then 3 days later, that man got arrested for an attempted kidnapping.
It's over there. And as soon as I did that, that's when he just picked him up out of my arm.
So she says she pointed over to where the Tylenol was, at which point he grabs the 2-year-old off of her lap and they get into this tug of war and he finally ended up fleeing. But surveillance footage from the Walmart that day paints a completely different picture. First off, I want to make note that she admitted she doesn't have any sort of ailment that would require her to be in a motorized wheelchair, that she uses that because the kids like to ride in it, inconsiderately taking it away from people who actually do need it. Here's some of the footage. Okay, so he walks into the store and is looking for Tylenol. He can't seem to find it anywhere, so he just kind of wanders around for a while. He looks up and down the aisles. Then eventually he sees Caroline, so he decides to go up to her right there and ask if she could point him in the direction of it. He said he thought she was disabled because she was in that chair and she seemed to be struggling with the kids. He noticed the 2-year-old was losing his balance and was about to fall out, so he did help put the son back on her lap. That was all he did. He then walks off to try to find the Tylenol. Now, notice this man here. He's standing there just kind of looking around. He turns back around because he can hear the commotion with the kids. That's the point that he helps with the 2-year-old son. And then Caroline backs up into something. You'll notice at this point, her daughter falls off and the man runs over and picks the little girl up off of the ground. Now, she didn't accuse him of attempting to kidnap one of her children.
Caroline Miller needs to be locked up because the man who she accused spent time behind bars and she's out here just walking around free after a false accusation. Let's keep listening.
They chit-chat for a few seconds and part ways. Now let's go back to the man. He is still looking for that Tylenol. The poor guy just cannot find it anywhere. So he eventually gets a Walmart employee who guides him to where it is. He approaches Caroline again just to be like, hey, I finally got the Tylenol. Thank you. Have a good day. You know, whatever. He doesn't touch anybody. He doesn't grab anybody. You saw her talking to a Walmart employee. That was to tell them that he tried to take her son. But as you can see, he paid for his Tylenol and he left.
I was in the Walmart and I had to rip my baby out of some other man's hands because he was trying to snatch him.
Someone trying to snatch your baby?
Yeah.
56-year-old Mahendra Patel was arrested on suspicion of kidnapping, and he's been in jail ever since. And there's 3 things I want to know. 1, what took so long to get that footage? 2, why is he still in jail? And 3, what's going to happen to her? The only thing he did wrong that day was be friendly and helpful to a woman who clearly had an agenda.
All right. So a part of me is now even more shocked than I was before. Because, guys, I didn't know that this man was still behind bars, right? Because so many people are reporting on this story like they're asking for her to be held accountable because he was proven innocent. But not only that, it turns out that they're also reporting on this story because the man is still locked up. Mind you guys, this video was released 3 days ago. Like you can't, the world becomes evil and more cold when bad people aren't held accountable. And bad people sometimes also represents liars and manipulators like this lady. Here is Inside Edition. 11 days ago, they were also addressing this particular topic. Check it out.
The shopper in this video is accused of a terrible crime, snatching a little boy at Walmart. The mother's accusation was disturbing.
Did someone try to take you from mommy?
Yeah.
Caroline Miller says it started when the shopper asked where he could find Tylenol at a Walmart in Atlanta.
It's over there. And as soon as I did that, that's when he just picked him up out of my arms.
What followed, she said, was a tug of war over the kid. She called 911.
Evil, evil, evil woman.
I was in the Walmart and I had to rip my baby out of some other man's hands because he was trying to snatch him.
Someone trying to snatch your baby?
Yeah.
56-year-old Mahendra Patel was charged with kidnapping and simple assault. But this newly released surveillance tape appears to paint an entirely different picture, showing Patel asking Miller about the Tylenol, and you can see her pointing toward the drug aisle.
What is going on there? Because that is the point where she is alleging he was trying to grab her son and she was pulling him back.
Her children are sort of hanging off of this cart, and you see Mr. Patel almost lean in to help. And then moments later, literally split seconds later, she starts to rise to point out the Tylenol. Then within 1 or 2 seconds after that, you see her in a screen laughing with another gentleman.
The tape shows that minutes after she claimed he tried to kidnap her son, there was a subsequent encounter where Patel shows the woman he found the Tylenol. He then checks out, stops to talk to an employee, then leaves.
I think it's crystal clear from the video. You can see that there's no assaulting conduct. You can see there's no battery. You can see he doesn't actually take the child from the mother.
You know, at some point, this has to stop. At some point, people who get proven as liars when it comes to false accusations have to be held accountable. How many times have we seen this story play out over and over and over and over again? When is someone going to finally say enough is enough? I mean, it could be whatever state, but there need to be some harsh laws placed on false accusations. And okay, you may say it need to be as harsh as maybe what the person would have faced, right? Meaning, since he spent 30 plus days behind bars, then she would also have to spend the same amount of time behind bars. And I say placed because I'm over here, again, thinking in my mind, his out. I'm actually going to do some research real quick just to make sure to see if he's actually still locked up. We can talk to our AI barista assistant, Miss Coffee here. Miss Coffee, are you familiar with the Caroline Miller incident where she accused an Indian man who is 56 years old for kidnapping her child in a Walmart? Turned out to be false. Anyways, I just want to know if he's still locked up or if he's been set free.
Yes, hun. I'm familiar with that troubling case. Mahendra Patel, a 56-year-old Indian American man, was accused by Caroline Miller of attempting to kidnap her 2-year-old son at a Walmart in Ackworth, Georgia, on March 18, 2025. Miller claimed that Patel tried to snatch her child from her lap, describing a tug of war between them. YouTube +X Hindustan, Times +X India Today +X Hindustan, Times +2 Assam News +2 India Today +2. However, surveillance footage from the store tells a different story. The video shows Patel approaching Miller to ask for help locating Tylenol for his ailing mother. At one point, he appears to steady the child, possibly thinking the boy was about to fall. There is no evidence of any struggle or attempt to abduct the child. Fox 5 Atlanta +4 India Today +4 Hindustan Times +4. Despite this, Patel was arrested 3 days later and charged with attempted kidnapping, simple battery, and simple assault. He has been held without bond at the Cobb County Adult Detention Center since then. His attorney, Ashley Merchant, has been advocating for his release, highlighting the lack of evidence supporting the charges. As of now, Patel remains in custody, awaiting a bond hearing scheduled for May 6. The case has drawn significant attention, with many calling for a thorough review of the evidence and a fair judicial process.
This is insane, bro. This is insane. This woman needs to be charged harshly. This is insane. So the next hearing is on May 6th. Disgusting. Just disgusting. Let's read a few of these comments, see what the people have to say. And you know, what's sad is that, like, this is somebody's family member. This is somebody, don't forget, this is an innocent person, right? Top comment here says, she still kept sitting in that wheelchair. Why didn't she get up if she was so scared? Somebody else here says, this is disgusting that Caroline Miller did this to this gentleman and he sits in jail to this day. Somebody else here says, his lawyer is Ashla Merchant. They're all going to be sorry for messing with that man when she's done. Somebody else who says she's white and he's brown. That's all you need to know. This is a very true fact when it comes to false accusations and white women. Somebody else who says, sue her, sue her, sue her. Here's another person who says he needs to sue her for defamation. And somebody else here added, imagine if there was no footage. To think that there are people who are in jail right now, right, who are locked up right now on false accusations, because the only way you could get away with something like this, there have to be something seriously psychologically wrong with you. to comfortably falsely accuse somebody. And guys, I know people like to jump to like the sociopath or psychopath very quickly, but you have to be sort of detached from the consequences of sleeping in your bed and being okay knowing that you just ruined somebody's whole entire life. Like, this is a real person we're talking about here. Of course, guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. Justice for this man. Till next time, I'm glad, I could actually report on this here on this channel. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.